Study marketing, that's good. So selling, promotion, what else? Creating awareness, very good. Okay. Anything else? For example, look at marketing as more of a process. Alright? Look at it as more of the different steps in which you get to sell the product at the end, right? So selling becomes the last step in that process in marketing. What is the first step? Now, remember I talked about identifying a need. There's a reason why they decided to go into fashion business. It can be in terms of maybe passion, yes, right? But at the same time, one about fashion. Fashion cuts across a lot of areas. So give me an example. When we say fashion, what part of fashion are you interested in? Designing? Styling, okay. What do you call that? Illustration, okay. Anything else? Bespoke as well, okay. So fine. Now, the whole idea is that there are competitors in the market, right? So you're going to have people that you're going to be competing with. And all of you are trying to target probably not the same market, but maybe similar markets. So how do you stand out? How do you stand out? That's what you keep on asking yourself, right? No two individuals here are the same. Do you agree? So there are strengths and there are weaknesses, but there are also opportunities in the market which caters to everyone, right? It's available to everyone. And you also have threats as well. So being able to identify those opportunities and bring yourself out to take advantage is what's important. So for marketing starts from what? Idea generation. When you're able to decide, okay, this is what I want to go into. And there's a reason why you're going into this sector. Okay, there's a gap. It could be because, okay, maybe you have a role model, right? Like Masterclass. Okay, does anyone think Masterclass does anything different in the fashion industry? Do you think? Okay, give me one example of your role model. Let me work with that.
How do
I just tell the person. Give me an example of your role model.
Orange culture.
Why?
Oh, yeah.
He makes and puts the gender neutral.
Okay.
Yeah. He makes his prints specifically for his brands and everything.
So that's unique to you, right? So remember when we talked about USP, unique selling position, right? But that's to appeal. And that's like when you're branding yourself, you're standing out. Something has to. I'm going to be very honest with you. When I walked in here, I was like, wow, okay. So I did not expect, I did not know what to expect and think that way. Okay, when I walked in here, was I impressed? Very impressed. Was I wow? Yes. And that tells me something, right? That tells me a story. And that makes it easy for me to accept anything that comes out from it. I don't know whether that applies to you as well. So can you go back, please? Take a look at this marketing concept, right? Tell me. So we have three. Look at this person who has the pink, right? Look at as the consumer or the customer, right? This is the end user for you. Look at three different competitors. So put yourself as one person there, and everybody's trying to serve this consumer. What do you think? Remember I said identify a need, right? What do you think the consumer wants? Wants bread. Food. So food, bread, right? So if the consumer just wants bread, right? How many of the, so you have the first person trying to what? Serve by what? You're doing what? Flour, right? So, and you can see that, so you can see this, what she's thinking, maybe that she's thinking, bread. So this is definitely wrong, right? Not being able to. What about the other two? They're both serving bread as well. So why do you think, what's different about them?
Flour is more attractive.
No, the flour is, no, we're really taking the flour out of it already. Because looking at what she's thinking, you see more she wants bread, right? Now you have two other competitors offering the same bread. But what makes them different? What do you think can stand out?
One is selling bread with the sea and like the romantic setting. While the other one is just selling bread alone.
A romantic setting.
Yeah.
Can you? Where's the romantic setting? Distance. So one distance, right? Okay.
The one with the green.
The one yellow, a green one, right?
I feel this person in the lady has a kind of feeling or a connection with the one with the green light. Maybe as partner or she has
emotion
partner
to it. Okay, maybe as partner.
with them before, and it's more closer, faster.
I like the word proximity. It's a little closer, right? So look at it this way. You can see this indicates like hot bread, right?
Yeah.
So think about location as in if if I wanted to get to order bread now, and maybe we are in Lekki right now, I said to order bread from Ikeja, right? And order bread from Lekki. If I eat the both hot bread, which one should be still hot better than just in Lekki, right? So it might not be a function of the product, it might be a function of the service, which is the distance. So at times, basically look at this way, that marketing for you, right, is more of like satisfying the customer needs. Whatever the customer's needs would be at a particular time in your own area. So identifying, understanding is next slide, please. Alright, so you use market research to understand methods to understand customers. What are your customers' needs? What do people want in fashion? What do they want in fashion? What do they want in fashion? Because you're trying to satisfy a need, right? So you're not making, are you making outfits? Are you making dresses for yourself? You won't wear the dresses, right? You will sell the dresses so you make money. So what do you think your customers want?
Depends on your audience, who you are selling to.
So the audience is who you've decided to sell to.
Yeah.
So what is that audience? Or who is that audience?
Before you start up any business, you have your targeted audience. If you are making clothes for kids, adults, or male. Now, when you get to that point, you choose the class of people who you will be selling to. Is it the low class, is it the middle, or the high class?
Okay.
Now, that is when you know what you want.
Okay, so what you're saying is that that decision now, so it's what we call the target market, right? It's what they call the available market. It's what they call the potential market. Who is the potential market? In Lagos, now if you look at Lagos, if you reside in Lagos, is Lagos a potential market for you? It's a potential market. Is it an available market for you? Who is available in Lagos for you?
Everyone is visible.
If Lagos is the potential market because you have access to that population, who is the available market? Look at your sector. Who is the available market in Lagos for you? You see why? See, the reason why we ask these questions, and the reason why it can be a bit confusing is that if you don't even understand who is available to you, right? Then how do you decide on the target market? You know, at times we keep on saying that Lagos is what's population size? 70 million, right? As if it's a potential market, right? But it's not an available market to you. It's not available market. Is it everyone in that market, right? So we say potential, probably interested in your product, right? Available, interested at what? Have the resources, right? There are a lot of things we like. Do you like a Mercedes Benz, right? Yeah. Can you afford the 20 right now? So you see, your potential is not available. So if Mercedes Benz, if they are advertising, doing a promotion, they'll be thinking about you in terms of interest, but not to availability. If you want to buy, if someone wants to sell a land in Banana Island right now, right? They will profile the customer to be very clear whether we all like good things, or can we afford good things? So are you after those that like good things, or that like good things and can also afford the things you're selling? It's a business. To understand that in as much as the available market to you, potential market to you, right? It has to be available to you. Then now you decide on what target market. Target market will not be that, okay. So yeah, everybody has, maybe you have a market that has the resources to buy, but maybe you cannot serve everyone at the same time. Because trying to serve everyone at the same time can be a problem or a challenge in your own business. So think of yourself as a startup. If you start up, maybe you have like two machines, right? There's a capacity that those machines can produce, yes or no? So if in a day, let's say you can make 3 to 5 outfits, right? So that means that already you should know very well that when you're taking orders, you should look at the time, the capacity you have. So if 20 people come to you today and say they want outfits for tomorrow, 20 outfits, can you produce 20? So you see the challenge, right? So we also need to understand that these decisions we make, especially with marketing, it's just not cut across advertising, but advertising is just one part of marketing. You identify those the needs, right? Understand? So you use market research to understand, okay, this is how my consumers are, this is how my customers are. I think in Lekki, and when we say profile, please don't look at the location as people living in Lekki or people living in Ikeja as the customers. You do a profile. Whenever that person fits into that profile, that person becomes your customer. Alright? So give me an example of like a restaurant that is in Lekki but is not on the mainland. Give an example. Black belt. Oh, black belt on the mainland. We're sitting at black belt right now. Now, you might stay in Surrey, right? Does it mean that you are not black belt's customer? It's like a trick question. No. So assume that whenever you are in Surrey, so you live in Surrey but you work in Lekki. So when you are at home, right? You're not black belt customer. But when you come to work in Lekki, you become what? Black belt customer. It's a profile. It's not an individual. So you also look at your market like that. And that way people keep on entering the profile and coming out of the profile. Okay? So you anticipate, you analyze data, but the product you're developing, right, is what meets customers' needs. And that's why at times when people say, oh, like, what's wrong with the product? Like, I did everything well. It is not, you're not buying the product. You don't understand what the customer wants. It might not really make sense to you, especially with fashion. But it's about satisfying the needs. That's why at times you have to ask yourself, the value you're offering and the value you're giving, you have to place, segment the customers that also want the same value. There will be a mismatch. Do you understand? So marketing starts from identifying the need, alright? Coming up, product development is very key here because you must develop the product. It could be product or service, right? But for you guys in fashion, it's about the product. You compete first on product before service. If you're competing on service, what will you be competing on? If you're competing on service now, so let's assume that you have a competitor that also does the same wow products that you do. What would be the way to have an upper, like, competitive advantage over that person in terms of service? What are you thinking about? So we both do the same thing. We can both make the same pieces, right? How do I offer a greater value to the customer? Delivering time. So there's what they call actual products, which is what the features are, the benefits are, right? What they call augmented products, which is more service. So your delivery time, your customer service, your communication, all those things become very important. So you don't take those things for granted. You can have an amazing product, right, but your service is actually very bad. And you know that on that. So one thing for you, the first thing is to get the product right. Right? But people don't compete on product anymore. Because one thing is that what you're doing, so you can do the same thing. Only very few people can stand out right now, especially in fashion. Let's think about it. So it now becomes more of a service. It's not even more of a service industry than even actually a product industry. People are focused on delivery time. What do customers complain about? Exactly. So think about it. So no matter how wow your product is, right? If service is poor, there's a problem. I will get somebody that can do the same thing. Most people actually like, I want to make this for you. Currently, it's not about the product for me. It's about the timing. Who I ever use, he understands what I want. The timing is, he will get it right. If he says 2 days, you do 2 days. Alright? Well, you have a one product, but you say 2 days, you do 2 weeks. And you start avoiding customers' calls, things like that. Service becomes very important. We don't compete on product anymore. Understand that? It's service now. So you have to be very careful that in marketing, not as much as you're trying to develop the product to be perfect, right? Service must come into it very well. And so it becomes your strength, and it's easier to compete. So don't get me wrong, product must be top notch, right? But we're saying that make sure that you have just like a brand story. What are the 3 strong values of Coca-Cola? In every advert you see, they sell those values. So it's not beyond the product, but any advert you see, it's not about the product, it's about those values. There are 3 F's. You cannot miss it except you don't watch it. Coca-Cola advert. You don't say Coca-Cola advert before. Family, one F. Friendship, good. Second, what's the last one? Fun. That's brand value for them. So it's not like I said maybe it's a product now. It's about that when you think about these 3 things, right? What do you think about Coca-Cola? Is there an event you go to that you don't see a Coca-Cola product? It's impossible. So you saw just as Tora said, you must have an experience. It's an experience. When I come, how do I feel? Maybe from the so for me now, let me give an experience. Walking into the gates, having the security, so you don't take people for granted. Having the security greet me, right? Attend to me. Welcome, sir. Can you please? Just little things like that. Maybe if I walked in now and he ignored me or he even greet me, I'm taking offense. Now I'm not even going inside the building, but that one alone is enough to put me off. I walk in, every individual said hello. Not because they knew I was, but it was pleasant to do that. That's the experience for me. So already, I'm already happy. Okay, wow, this is good. So I've not even gotten to the final product of the service. But the experience has taken me to where, so I'm already ready for whatever you are bringing on. So let's be very careful. At times we get too focused on the product that we forget the experience. And experience is why people come back. It's why what? People come back, the experience. Alright, so very good. Next slide please. Alright, so we see, understand marketing is more communication, right? There's a value here, value offered to value perceived. So you want to offer a value, right? But there's a perception I have of that value because there are benefits, there's a need, there's a benefit to it. So for example, let's look at the fashion, like an outfit. Maybe I have an event I want to go to. Depending on the event I want to go to, depending on what kind of outfit I want to wear, right? So it's more like a mood thing. So when I come to you as a fashion designer, and I say, I want a dress. What should be the question you should be asking? For what, right? For what purpose? So it's not like, I want a dress. Oh wow, yes, this dress I've made. Nothing about is this dress I've made. You start showing me, without actually profiling to know what I actually want it for. Oh, what's the dress for? What is this event? Oh, who will be there? So already you're profiling to know what, oh wow, you know what, I have a perfect dress for it. Based on what? Profile. So it's communication of value, and it's value offered and it's value perceived, right? And your value offered must be equal or exceed. I always advise to exceed. So I come to you with something. When the dress is ready, I come like, oh my god, I didn't expect this. But I exceeded my expectations. That's why fashion is very, very competitive. Me, I don't envy you guys, I'm sorry. I don't envy in fashion because being creative is like you have to dream fashion. It's like you sleep and wake with fashion. That's not easy. Because there are people that, and so anyone in fashion that has done very well, trust me, they are very, very good, especially in this country. We have what we call the market leaders, the market challengers, the market followers, and the market niches. Now, the leaders, right, those are the ones that, when it comes to resources, financial capacity, they spend so much on innovation, on creativity, because they have to be ahead of the pack. And the challengers are always the ones to react immediately. They don't waste time. They don't want to lose out. So like a Coca-Cola would be like a leader. A person would be like a challenger. Then usually you find more of followers around. And not because that they're not good, right? But what the followers could do is that because they don't have the resources like the leaders and the challengers, right? So look at the fashion leaders, fashion brands outside this country that are doing very well. People take a look at what they are doing, right? And find a way to tweak it and personalize it to their own segments. Alright? And the niches will just go off course. We just find a small market that people are not looking at. Right? But we say big enough, small enough to be valued by the market leaders, right? But big enough to sustain the business. So tell me what part of fashion would you call a niche? What part of fashion would you call a niche? Perfumes? Perfumes, I think we call perfumes a niche. You have a lot of brands in perfume. I think it's something you think about because at times it's not really about, it's not focused more on the product, it's focused on the segments. If you look at education now, you say everyone is going to education in terms of schools, Montessori, things like that, right? Then the schools for the special needs become the niche. And trust me, those schools are very expensive. There are very few of them, right? So people, not everyone will go into that segment. But if you look at their fees and everything, they are big enough to sustain the business for a very long time. Okay, so fashion also can give that opportunity as well, when you understand that, okay, do I do what everybody is doing, or do I just carve a small niche, right? Well, I don't know that it can generate the revenue I need to sustain the business, and I'll continue to do that, okay? So you're always communicating the value of the product, but the reason why you're doing this is one thing, selling. No, nothing, the only process in business, in marketing, that generates revenue is selling. So whether you do promotion, whether you advertise your products, you see everything we've all done here, right? If you do not pay your tuition, right, you will not make money. That's the truth. It's selling, right? And that's how your business grows. So everything you're doing, right, you're trying to sell to generate revenue because you have expenses. Even if there's no money attached to it, right? It's important because at least you might need one person. I'm going to events where they need people for anything, right? But the people that I met, there's one like brought up from there. So you have to be very smart about it. So as someone who say, no, if there's no money attached to it, I'm not going. Interesting. Always network, think about the opportunities that can create, right? So collaboration becomes very key in fashion as well. Very, very important. Collaboration. Who can help you get out there? Okay, don't think you can do it all by yourself. I don't think you can do it all by yourself in fashion. I don't think it works, right? You should understand. So it's like saying, so I think I had this guy that talked about he was making leather shoes. Then now partner with the guy that was making belts. Then that side. So they started selling like as a combo. And they were able to increase their sales because they're living on each other's platform. Right. I think also then Daily Mail did something like that at one point where they started, because for a very long time they show celebrities wearing outfits, right? But they don't mention the brand. So at some point they started mentioning the brands or what the celebrities are wearing and putting a cost to it. That was also taking free promotion for those brands like that. So yes, promotion. How do I want to promote the business? How do I want to develop the product? So it must be a document. Alright? It allows you to understand that okay, this is how I want. So there are tactics. There are action plans for you, right? As a consultant, most times when we interact with businesses, the plan becomes very important. It's like a business plan. You have the marketing plan, you have the operational plan, you have the financial plan. All these are just guide. So it's like and remember that the business is an entity on its own, different from you. So it is not you that is actually they're just driving the business, right? But the business is working on that plan, and it's a continuous document. So what I want to leave with you guys is what you're doing as startups is that try as much as possible to have a guide, a plan. And everything you do should be deliberate. Ask yourself, how do I want to get out there? How do I want to get visible? How do I want to get noticed? How do I want to create awareness? What kind of product do I want to make? You must ask yourself every question. If I'm selling at this price, why am I selling at this price? If I'm going to promote, don't do it because people are doing it. Promote on social media, not because people are promoting on social media, because you're going to get what? Market generate revenue from it. If it's not working for you, what do you do? What do? You change the strategy. But some people just keep on doing the same thing for over like 3 years, right? And they don't generate money from it. So be careful with strategy. Always get feedback and always measure, like the metrics, always measure the impact of everything that you've done. Alright? Yeah, sorry that I come with the academic points, but that's what I do. I just like to do more academic than this thing. Alright, so thank you very much. Wow.